Now, university students have begun rationing lecture attendance as a measure of cutting down of cost of transportation. For many of them who do not reside on campus, this is the only buffer against the frequent hikes in transport fares. Manuel Cranting has our latest edition of Joy 11 Standard Series.
Instead of attending classes from Monday to Friday, I now have to choose 3 of the days that I have a lot of packed classes and then show up in school.
Yes, we are driving empty in the campus because not all of the students have money to be taking taxi.
Me moving from home to my workplace, I realized that the transportation at the end of the month was more than the salary I was receiving, so I had to quit the job.
It's rush hour Monday evening, and at the Legon bus stop, it's a hustle as conductors scramble for passengers. Behind these faces that take turns to join the vehicles are real struggles by students to even get to school in the first place.
When I started Legon in level 100, I used to pay 2 cedis 70 pesos for transportation. That was if I had a straight car from where I lived to Legon first. Fast forward, it moved to 3 cedis, then 4 cedis. In fact, at the beginning of the year, transportation from where I lived to Legon was 5 cedis 50 pesos. But currently, I have to pay 8 cedis 50 pesos to get to Legon every day. And that is too much for me.
Inside the university's campus, I meet final year consumer science student Nana Abena Grant. She, like many of her non-resident mates, are now rationing their class attendance, cherry-picking which lectures they can miss.
My first year, I had classes from Monday to Friday, and I made sure that I attended all my classes because it was important for me to be present in class and for that to reflect on my grades. But fast forward 3rd year and now in my final year, I have to find ways to cut costs. So instead of attending classes from Monday to Friday, I now have to choose 3 of the days that I have a lot of packed classes and then show up in school. As much as I want to be present in class from Monday to Friday, because of the economic situation, I cannot. It's not an option for me. I used to work to support myself in school. And then this year, the prices of transportation just kept increasing because of course, the hike in fuel prices. Now, comparing me moving from home to my workplace, I realized that the transportation at the end of the month was more than the salary I was receiving, so I had to quit the job.
Nana Abena's grades are now at stake. Her lecturers are on her neck for what she has close to no control over.
Recently, for instance, I was reprimanded by a lecturer for not showing up to her class for a number of days. And so she was complaining, and I had to explain the situation to her. But of course, you know, sometimes those explanations, they expect you to be in class, so you have to be in class. You can't make excuses because you are facing financial challenges with regards to transportation. When you're in your first year, you are eager to show your parents your grades. So once you check your MIS web and then you made the grades, the A's and the B's are flowing, you're in a hurry, you're in a haste to show it to your parents. Oh, look at this, look at that. But now if they ask you, like, oh, the lecturers have not released the results yet. That's what the song they are singing now. The grades have moved from A, B to a C now, and you know that you can do better, given the conducive environment and the circumstances, you can do better. But because you have to, find your way around issues, have to work and do this and that here and there. So the grades are not the best. But what can you do?
For many students in Nana Abena's situation, their woes are compounded by the university's perennial accommodation challenge, especially because prices of off-campus accommodation spaces are way over the roof now. What's the solution? Patching.
I couldn't get accommodation when the portal was opened, and I reached out to some of my friends to find out if they could help me out. And unfortunately, one of my SHS juniors was able to get accommodation in one of the halls. So he asked that I can come around and then stay with him. So he's the one I'm currently staying with.
Kwame Adamu, not his real name, is in his third year at the university. Born and bred in the Upper East region, Kwame has no relatives in Accra. Kwame tells me how embarrassing it is to go through the university living literally under the care of friends.
Right to do certain things in the room. You can't say certain things are going on and you can't contribute because you are not a legal member in the room, so you don't have that freedom to express yourself or to even do certain things that you want to do openly. You can't do it. So certain things, an issue occurs in the room, they try to look on you because you are the patient. Anything that is wrong, you are the one who are causing it because we are the legal members. We're not doing anything wrong. I remember one time he warned me and he told me that he will pack my things out of the room. I thought it was just a joke, and actually I came back from lectures one day and my things were found outside by the door, and I spoke to one of the legal members in the room. He said he brought me back in and said he will speak to the guy too. And the guy is in level 100 for that matter, and I'm in 300. And I really felt bad because the level 100 who just came and you are doing this to, if I was in SHS, I'll be your senior and you are doing this to me. But that's how it is. You have nothing to do because you're a pressure and you just have to go by it.
After a very long day in class, many non-resident students at the University of Ghana, they come here to join public transport, or trotro as they call it, to find their way home. Well, the effect is a lot of the taxis on campus remain empty.
During the increase of the petrol right now in campus, sometimes I used to have pity, sympathy for the students. Some of the students that don't have that much money. Maybe in class, some of them have 4 classes in a day, taking taxi in and out. For Water Hall to Desperate is 8 CD that we used to charge, which is a little bit very expensive. Yes, we are driving empty in the campus because not all of the students have money to be taking taxi.
Call it a problem of the economy spiraling through all corners of student life. Till the government fixes the situation, take it easy on university students you meet. They may just be another Nanabena or Kwame Adamu. Manuel Cranting, JoyNews, Accra.
Now joining me for a conversation on this is Jeffrey Obimpon, Doreen Kwashe, Cleopatra Azantilo, and Justice Kobina Jr. Good morning and welcome. Let me start with you, Jeffrey. How do you relate to the story of rationing lecture because of high cost of transportation?
All right, thank you once again. My name is Jeffrey. As you said, I'm in level 200, studying material science and engineering. Talking of the transportation in terms of my lectures going and all the other stuff, I'm in Mensa Saba Hall, as a matter of fact, and moving from Mensa Saba Hall to the engineering school is a very long distance. So, as a guy, normally I don't do that. I don't really go for the taxi, so I normally do the attendance by walking. So I usually walk, and it's very tiresome. I must be honest with you. It is not easy. In fact, upon reaching the premises, you will know that you have, really been exhausted. And it is not easy, but we try to do our best. Sometimes you need to cope and then take a cab. It's not easy at all, and it's very expensive. Very expensive.
Doreen, Jeffrey says for him, he walks because he's a guy. What about you? How do you go about rationing your lectures because of high cost of transportation?
Okay. Good morning, first of all, and thank you for this opportunity. Okay, so with respect to transportation, I'm in the diaspora. He's in the traditional hall. And from diaspora to main campus is quite lengthy. Main campus is where all our lecture halls are, and then you would have to leave diaspora every day to main campus for lectures. And here lies the case. Shuttle is, let's say, the cheapest, since taxi is very expensive. So if you would want to be boarding taxi every day to be comfortable and go which time you want, it's costly. So if you want to pick the shuttle, previously when I came to school first, level 100. So when I came to school first semester, picking a shuttle cost just 1 cedi 50 pesos, and then they increased it to 2 cedis, and now you have to get a shuttle card which costs 10 cedis, and you have to be reloading each and every time. so that you'll be able to use the card. And when you don't have a card, you have to pay 3 cedis. So this is, I mean, it's expensive. And if you are a bit late, you would have to take a taxi. Taking a taxi too is expensive, but you still have to go for lectures. So then, I don't know. Me personally, I've been working if the place is not very far, but most of my lecture halls are far. So then I have to rush to get the shuttle. And if you don't get the shuttle, it means you are taking a taxi. And if you don't want to take a taxi, you are missing lectures. That's what it is.
Do I get the feel that you don't rush in your lectures?
I don't rush. Pardon, I didn't get what you just said.
No, I mean, you don't rush in your lectures. You go for all the lectures that you have, right?
Yes, I attend every lecture. I rush for lectures every day, but then maybe something might have kept you late and then you don't get to board the shuttle. So that's when you would have to contemplate on whether to take a taxi or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cleopatra, she says that she attends all her lectures. Do you also attend all your lectures, or you do rushing because of the conditions that you do face? Cleopatra, can you hear me? If you can you
Yes,
unmute? So good.
yes, please, I can hear you.
Good. So she says that she attends all her lectures. What about you? Do you rush in? And if you do, how do you go about the lectures that you do attend?
Well, fortunately for me, I stay on campus, and my faculty happens to be very close to my hostel. So it's about a 5-minute walk from my hostel to the faculty. But when I was in first year, I was off campus, and that was very, very hard for me, especially in my first year. I had to commute from the nearby areas of campus to come all the way to the faculty as well. And that wasn't easy for me as well. I had to take a transport, and we did not have the school shuttle system going all the way to that part of campus as well. And it was very problematic. So I was spending from my own pocket, if I should say, to come to school regularly for lectures.
Interesting. Cleopatra, how has some of your friends who have to rush in their lectures because of where they live been impacted academically?
Academically, there's a lot, because I know a few of my friends who even have had to even stop school because they were not able to pay their fees as a result of the university's new policy on the payment of fees. And so even with commuting, sometimes some people don't even have an interest to come to class as a result of the high prices in fuel, because sometimes if you want to come from neighboring Kote or Ayediase, it costs about 2 cedis. And if you are coming in and out a week, you'll be spending more than 10 Ghana cedis on transport a day. So some people definitely are disinterested in coming for lectures. And unfortunately also, my faculty is located right in campus, like in the middle of campus as well. So it's very hard for them. Yes.
How many of your friends have had to, probably stop because of cost of transportation?
How many? I can't quantify it, but I know about 10 people. And funny enough, my classmates, a lot of them are actually off campus. About 80% of them are off campus persons. So I know personally about 10 people who have had this problem or are facing this problem.
Wow. Let me come to you, Jeffrey. For you, I'm sure you have friends. Or how has the cost of transportation and for the fact that people have to rush in lectures affected some of your friends, and what's their situation now?
Okay, thank you very much. Let me be straight with those who are outside campus. The transport increments actually affected anyone, everyone at all here across board. And those who are coming from Tema and all those areas, they sometimes have to miss class. it is not their fault. I quite remember we had an IE last week, and in fact, the IE was supposed to be taken on a Wednesday, and a student had to complain that where he was coming from is quite farther. The lecturer had already fixed the time at 8:30, and the student claimed that by that time he wouldn't get any car or any means of transport to the engineering school. So the lecturer had to consider that and then push the time, or the day actually, to Friday, and the time a bit to 9 a.m. And on campus here, in fact, I don't really know for my friends. I mean, none of them have given me any reason that because of transport they have quit or something. But then they usually miss lectures, as a matter of fact, because it is very expensive. So those who can't afford to walk, they actually have to miss. They sometimes have to give you some funny reasons that they can't make it, but clearly that there's, as a matter of fact, it's all about the transport. Yeah.
Interesting. Doreen, I remember way back when I was on campus, sometimes you'd have to walk several kilometers to go for lectures. Sometimes you'd have to decide you will not make it, and you would go for your friends to take the lecture note so you can also study to know what's going to happen. For you and within your circles, how does that play out?
Pardon, can you please come again?
I mean, within your friends, how do people have to, forego lectures and come for your lecture note to study because probably he or she could not afford the transportation to the lecture?
Okay, I personally haven't met such friends yet. I mean, I haven't gotten into that situation before. I haven't had any friend asking for notes because he or she couldn't come to class or something.
Interesting. Okay. Cleopatra, I don't know if you've had friends who would have to come for your lecture note because they couldn't turn up for that lecture because of transportation. Cleopatra, did you hear me?
I didn't get the question.
Yeah, I was asking that how regular do you have friends who come to you for lecture note because they missed that lecture due to transportation problems?
If the connection is quite unstable, please.
Okay. Is it clear now?
Yes, please.
So I'm just trying to find out from you. You mentioned earlier that you have about 10 people who do face this kind of stress about due to lack of transportation, their education is affected in a way. And I'm asking, how regular do people come to you for lecture note because they are not able to attend these lectures?
Yes, I do. Yes, please. I do have friends who are going through this problem, if I heard you correct.
I'm trying to find out from you, how regular do people come to you for lecture notes because they are not able to come for lectures? Okay. I think that we would have to wrap it up here on the news desk. We've been speaking to some students who have been sharing their thought on how students have to ration lectures due to transportation costs. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us here on the news desk on Joy News. Now, move on to other stories. Residents of Santase Apere eagerly anticipate their date on Akufo-Addo's year of roads. Residents of Apere in the Chuma-Kwauma district of the Ashanti region continue to endure the devastating impact of dusty and bumpy road network in the area. After staging more than 2 protests to vent their displeasure against the government and contractors for not revisiting the site, the road has since not seen its completion. Love FM's Emmanuel Bright-Kweku gauged the mood of some residents and scored the extent of work done by contractors, and has filed this report.
We are begging Nana Akufo that you can't go enter Patasi Road, you can't go enter Ahojo, you can't go enter Denyame and leave the citizen here in a place.
Angry protesters of the Santase Apre community in 2020 vented to the government's failure of fixing the deplorable road linking the community to the city center.
Come here and promise, the next day they are coming. 2016, we were here A day before the election, we saw them bringing machineries. They brought bulldozers. They started constructing the road. Immediately after the election, we never saw them again. Last 3 months, we heard that the road has been awarded to somebody. As of today, we don't know which contractor is on the road.
At the moment, I was meant to be at work. I'm standing here, and I support this demonstration. I support it 100%. If they don't come and sort out and fix our roads, it's the same tax that I'm going to work for them to pay. Now, I say a road of a year of roads.
This was the first of the many protests they have staged, with one of such resulting in a near clash with the police. Months after the last protest, the road has since not seen any major uplift. Vehicles plying the stretch still pollute the environment with fine dust. These buildings bear testimony of the extent of pollution from the poor roads. But to the residents, the situation has dire health implications.
The dust is not good for the children.
This footage, recorded in December 2021, reveals some residents rescuing victims of a vehicle which had veered off the road and somersaulted into a nearby gully.
This bridge you see over here, sometime last year, had a huge gully by it. But today, when we came here, the contractors for this job have managed to erect a wall over the gully and even constructed some gutters to direct the water that flows through this vicinity into the major stream running through this area. However, according to the residents in this area, before this wall was erected, at least 2 deaths have been recorded.
2 vehicles have bumped into the gully, with 1 person dying. When it rains, the road is not motorable. One time, a pregnant woman died because of this road. This single carriage road serves as a relatively shorter route for commuters from adjoining communities like Ampetia, Kokobeng, and Hemine. But the deplorable road network is affecting daily activities and damaging vehicles. The road is bad. From the time they did the gutters, our cars continue to damage.
We are really suffering on the road. We could use 10 minutes on this road, but we have to use 30 minutes. This road is shorter, but you always have to visit the mechanic after using the stretch.
More than 2 hours. Baba fetch her 80, but we are so to can ye then.
The fares are expensive now. We've called on the authorities severally, but nothing was done. It was after the protest that they even constructed the gutters. Residents of Apre are anticipating a date on President Akufo-Addo's Year of Roads to see their road become safely motorable. For Joy News, Emmanuel Bright Kweku reporting.
Now let's still stay in the Ashanti region, where the first phase of the ongoing construction of the maternity and children's block at the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital is scheduled for completion in May 2024. Work on the 507-bed capacity project started in February 2021 following the demolition of a 44-year-old building over structural integrity issues. Health Minister Kojo Agyemang is excited at the progress and quality of work done as contractors are assured of meeting deadlines. My colleague Ohiming Teria of our health desk has more in the following report.
The 45-year-old maternity block project, started by the Echampon regime, remained uncompleted despite several attempts by successive governments. The decision by the MPP government to construct a new maternity and children's ward following several technical, architectural and structural tests on the old building suggested its structural integrity could not be guaranteed. Weak foundations, rusty iron rods, poor quality of concrete beams, excessive corrosion of reinforcing steels and others raised serious concerns. The Ministry of Health awarded an engineering, procurement and construction contract to UK-based company, contractor, for construction of the new block. Work on the new project started in February last year as the old block was demolished. The 5-story building to be equipped with modern theaters, pediatric neurology, hematology, cardio and respiratory wards will provide a one-stop modern care for mothers, newborns and children.
We also have one theater room on the delivery floor to ensure that in case of emergency, you don't have to move anybody to another floor. And we have 2 minor theaters also on the ground floor, so making it a total of 10 theaters for this facility.
It will contain pediatric infectious disease unit, mother and baby unit and pediatric renal unit. Project consultants, Architect Consult, are optimistic of meeting the 2024 deadline. Nana Ebubonsra is the lead consultant.
The original idea was to rehabilitate that 19-something building, but we found that structurally it was not capable of completing it. We have given ourselves a debt trap. Right, okay. So when the idea came that let's use the same quantum of money to do a new thing, we now ended up, in fact, the original thing we were expecting about 750 beds, but now we, under phase 1, we are doing about 500 beds, and then there's a phase 2, which is going to be another tower block on top of the OPD, which will match with this. 24 May, we are sure of the completion.
Health Minister Kojo Agyemang during a visit to the project site, expressed satisfaction on progress. He says the relocation of a nearby basic school will give more space for the construction of an ambulance bay.
This is a project that couldn't have failed us. It's right on the heart of the president, and I've taken it upon myself to deliver. And so the president keeps on asking about how far. And that is one of the reasons why I decided to come and see it myself. I'm so excited about work so far done. It gives me a lot of hope and confidence that this project will finish within the contract duration period. And I'm happy with the work so far. There are a few additions that we may have to do. I've asked them to cost for us to see the cost implications of what we want to do. A basement for a car park, linking the new block to the old facilities so that those who are assessing might not have a chance to go out into the public place in the traffic to come back. We are going to relocate the schools here. We've got approval for that so that we can build and fit a proper ambulance service place to help the facility.
From Kumasi, for JoyNews, Ohiming Teria reporting.
Now back in Accra, and the Efua Sunderland Children's Park used to be a place where children play and socialize, but not anymore. The park has been left to rot for years. Children who visit the park hoping to have a good time leave disappointed. I spent some time at the park and came through with this report. The Efua Sutherland Children's Park has seen some continuous neglect for some time, leaving the facilities at the park broken down and virtually non-existent. The park has not received any meaningful renovation lately, despite the social benefit of the park to Ghanaian children. So this is one of the trains in this park children were using to play when they came here. It used to be a place where children will be every weekend and on holidays to play, have fun with other children, to socialize. But as nature will be and as of the Ghanaian nature, we have looked on for this place to deteriorate to the barest minimum. The once beautiful Ifwa Sutherland Children's Park is now a laughingstock, characterized by worn-out equipment such as this. Children who are brought here these days get disappointed about the state of the facility. Some even improvise when there is nothing here to play with. On Founders Day, I met Nana Osei Kojo Ajiman, a basic 5 people and his siblings here with their mother. Having nothing to play with, they had to improvise.
Yes.
That was your swing?
Yes. I was making them try that they should make a swing with me so that they can swing me.
Because you didn't meet a swing here?
Yes.
Kojo tells me they had to do it because they did not find anything to play with at this park, adding he and his siblings were disappointed in how the park has been run down.
We came here to have some time together and play and have some fun. It wasn't really like we were expecting it to go like big. We thought that we would have some things to play, but when we came here, they were all sports.
Okay.
We were kind of sad and disappointed.
Okay.
So we just came to sit down.
Okay. They are not alone. Junior is another child who had come to the park with his siblings to play and to socialize. Unfortunately, they met a dead children's park. He too could not hide his disappointment.
I thought here would be fun, and there will be a lot of competitions and toys to play with.
So how disappointed are you?
Very, very disappointed.
Junior's father, W.O. Kusi Sapong, says he brought his kid to have fun, but met total disappointment.
Today is holiday, so I decided to come out with the children to have fun. But upon reaching here, you can see that there's nothing happening much. The place is bushy, there's no entertainment, all the things that the children used to play with, they are all worn out. They are not all in use. So I'm just decided to even go back. I want to go to Achimota more because there's no fun here for the children. Very sad.
When you were coming, what was your expectation?
Well, I was expecting to see a lot of activities happening here with a lot of children. I want my children to mingle. Just, always indoors. Once in a while, you get holiday. They need to come out and play. All work and no play, make a jacket double. So I have to let my children play. And this is the popular playgrounds I know. The 40 Sutherland Park is one of the vibrant those days. I don't know why nowadays occasion like Founders Day like this, and here is like this. In fact, it's not the best.
He says something must be done about the park as soon as possible.
Very, very disappointed. Very, very disappointed. I wish something might be done here, at least. The only playground for children in the whole of Accra. Something might be done, at least. See the railway tracks, they are not working. You have something that children can play with. If you come here and there's really no activity going on. I mean, the things that they used to play, the toys, the cars, you're supposed to be in play. But what do you see? Nothing. It's very sad. This place needs to be renovated. We should bring back the old A40s at the Lamp Park. That's what I want government to do.
Both Kojo and Junior pleaded with government to fix the A4 Sutherland Children's Park.
I just want to say that they should come and fix the place for us, so that we can play here and come and play and have a lot of fun.
Okay.
Like when it was fixed.
Okay.
I will say that the government should bring 20 things for children to come and play with, so that here will be happy and plenty people will be here.
For JoyNews, I am Samuel Kojo Brace, Accra. Now, management at the New Horizon Special School at Cantonment in Accra has called on authorities to relocate huge and imposing billboards mounted in front of the school's premises. According to them, the situation poses threat to the pupils with special needs. JoyNews' Tasha Michelle paid a visit to the school and filed this report.
Located at Cantonment, a suburb of Accra, the New Horizon Special School is a learning facility for pupils with special need. However, authorities at the school say the presence of huge billboards interlocked with electricity wires puts the lives of special needs children at risk and wants city authorities to have them relocated.
We have about 9 billboards in front of the school, and it is posing a lot of threat to the lives of our children with special needs and also the property of the school. Early May, there was an instance where 2 of the billboards fell. One fell at the parking lot and the other at the children's playground. Thankfully, it was in the evening, so there were no children around. We had contacted the assemblyman, who also saw that it was really a threat to the lives of the children, so he organized a meeting for us to meet the municipal chief executive. So the letter, he guided us to write to the municipal executive director, which we took on the 8th of June. And then also we had written to notify the billboard owners. 2 of them have responded, but the rest have not. When we wrote to them, one came over and saw how dangerous it was, and so they said they were going to do something about it. But the other wrote to say that they were going to reinforce it, so that it stays strong. But this is not what we want. We want it to be relocated to another place. The parents are really concerned because it's posing a big danger to their children, and also even they come in to pick their wards. So it is also dangerous, having it fall at the parking lot. So this is a plea to the municipality to take action so that the billboards are relocated, so that there'll be visibility and no more threat to property and children of the school. So we want you to take action before something fatal happens to the students and property of the school.
The assemblyman of the area, Alhaji Bashiru, explained that the delay in response has been occasioned by the process that it takes to have billboards removed.
The planning officer will go and assess the place. If it is okay, they will grant you the permit. But that doesn't mean that if there's a challenge, they will refuse, assembly will refuse not to do anything about the issues. But what I'm saying is, you can't just come and report an issue and you want us to do magic. Within the shortest possible time, you want us to remove that. It's not possible. But there's also a process. You already have agreement with somebody who paid you for 1 year to advertise. You can't just go the next day and go in. The person is that breach of contract. Those there, they are not unauthorized. They are authorized billboards there. The ones that are not unauthorized, we remove all.
He disagrees with the school's position that the billboards present a big risk to life, stressing further that the parcel of land on which the billboards have been mounted does not belong to the school, hence the need for tact in handling the matter.
That land in question is not the school land. So the school don't have any authority on that said land. They don't have that authority. Now, I'm not saying that if the school does not pay anything to assembly, we should not take good care of the school. Because even though it's a special school that need more attention, and even partnering with them to support the school, but we have to do the right thing. Because if there's a problem, they'll come back to the assembly. Because these people, these billboards have been granted permits. Because in reality, some of the billboards there, they are more than 30 years there. Some are more than 30 years. Some are more than 20 years. Some are more than 15 years. And it's not posing any danger there.
Tasha Michelle's report, read to you.
You're also watching Joy News Desk here on the Joy News channel. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with business. Stay on.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Cement prices are expected to increase from next week. Joy Business is learning that price per 50 kilogram of the building material is expected to hit 68 cedis from the current 59 cedis. There's more in this report.
To say the increase has been influenced by the sudden rise in cost of operations for most of the manufacturing firms in the country due to the sharp depreciation of the Ghana cedi. One manufacturer, for instance, tells Joy Business when the wholesale price for a 50 kilogram was being sold at around 59 Ghana cedis, that was based on an exchange rate of around 7 Ghana cedis, 60 pesos. That is around June this year. However, based on the fact that most of them had to import some of their raw materials at a dollar rate of more than 9 Ghana cedis presently, someone has to take care of this cost. Some of them have told Joy Business that due to the fact that it has been very difficult to absorb all these rising costs of operations, there's a need to share this burden with consumers. This might be the second time in 2 quarters that the price of the commodity has gone up due to what the manufacturers say is a rising cost of production in the country.
The industrialization agenda is likely to face a number of challenges if government fails to deal with issues confronting the city. This is according to Business Development Manager for B5 Plus Limited, Sandeep Solan. Speaking at the 2022 Ghana Corporate Brand Awards, he said the operations of various local manufacturing industries across the country are gravely impacted by the depreciating cedi against other foreign currencies, hence the need for swift solutions to make the local currency stable.
Transformation of the country's economy had been the major focus in recent times. This has resulted in the creation of new companies and expansion of several others. According to Solan, the significant level of depreciation of the cedi is retarding the growth of the sector. He maintained that increases in taxes has also hit the sector negatively.
Actually, seriously, the cedi depreciation is affecting us a lot because, we are importing most of the items and every day we cannot change the price. Being a buyer, you will not accept every day I'll tell you that the prices have gone up. So we have to seriously think before doing the pricing because we have to see past prices, we have to see upcoming prices, we have to see what is on the sea. So it's really a big challenge for us to do the pricing, but at the same time we have to see our users. We should not affect them directly because they are also, using it. So keeping all those things in mind, our chairman is always taking just steps to cover. Maybe our profits should be reduced, no problem, but we have to serve the society also. So we are just trying our level best how we can cope up with this situation and looking at the futures, like maybe the future will be better.
Head of Marketing and Strategic Management for Maxim Cosmetic Ghana, Eugene Makwe, said stakeholders within the retail space should embark on various initiatives to sustain the industry.
The whole conversation of about made in Ghana and our products, you see, retail industry, right? I'd wish that government will have some policies or otherwise, initiatives that will give Ghanaians that leverage, so that we'll be able to be in the retail outlets a bit more, because it's very heartbreaking to know that you walk into some of these leading retail outlets and you find foreign brands in there. Now these retail outlets, whether you like it or not, determines the consumption, pattern in every, country, right? So if the individuals go to these outlets and they find out that these are foreign brands and that's what they find there, what will happen? That's what they will buy and consume. At the end of the day, it is to our disadvantage.
The Ghana Corporate Brand Awards is intended to function as a catalyst in the Ghanaian brand sector, bringing together the most credible leading brands across industries.
And that's your business update. There's more coming up after this break. Do stay tuned.
It's now time for us to bring you sports, and Lawrence is already here with some latest on that front. Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Brace.
How are you?
I'm good.
What's on the table?
Yesterday, not yesterday, you recall that Ashanti Gold were demoted from the Ghana Premier League. And they just ended one because they were found guilty of match fixing 2 seasons ago. So the GFA had to set up a mini league consisting of 3 teams, Liberty Professionals, Tamale City, and then the Buswa Dwarfs, to determine who replaces Ashanti Gold in the Ghana Premier League next season. Guess what? Tamale City have grabbed that spot. It all started last week when Liberty Professionals beat Buswa Dwarfs in the opening game. Each team is supposed to play 2 games. In Liberty's next game, they faced Tamale City and lost 1-0. Yesterday, Tamale City played their final game as well as Buswa Dwarfs. And then headed into the game, Tamale City needed just a point to finish as the winners of the mini league. So they scored first, and then scoring first means they are cruising to victory already. Fans at the stadium were all happy. Minutes later, Dwarfs came into the game, and then Liberty, as well as some Dwarfs fans, were hoping that Dwarfs would do the unthinkable and then score another goal to split, or should I say, to make all teams get 3 points at the end of the league. But that didn't happen. Tamale City were able to hold on for the last 15 minutes of the game, because both goals came in the 40 minutes of play, just in the first half. So for the 15 minutes, it was just end-to-end stuff at Accra Sports Stadium. You see Dwarfs pushing to get a second goal, but then that didn't happen for them. What this means is that the northern sector of Ghana will have 2 representatives in the Premier League next season. Because RTU are in, and then Tamale City become the latest to join them. For Tamale City, it is something that they've been dreaming for quite a long time. Their head coach Hamza Mohammed said since the inception of the club, it's something that has been the dream of the club to play in the Premier League. Because it gets to a point where you want players for the team and they don't want to come because they are playing in the Division 1. It's not as if Ghana's Division 1 is bad, but then you don't get the limelight that you want for the players. You don't get people talking about the Division 1 as much as they will talk about the Premier League. So they moving to the Premier League is quite a big deal for them. And then they will look to get players on board. What I like from what he said yesterday was the fact that, when teams move from the Division 1 league and come to the Premier League, it's more of the, should I say, struggling a bit in terms of finances. Because RTU have been there. Even before, ahead of next season, their PR has issued a plea to the public to come and
support them.
So for Tamale City, there's the readiness for people to support them once they get to the Premier League. But he's also appealing that corporate individuals who have the cash, who have the necessary funds to support.
So it's both the individuals who have the wherewithal and corporate entities up north and corporate entities with attachment to the north to help them.
So I think it's a good move. In Swatreman, where he did the same thing. They are also playing the maiden. They are playing their maiden debut in the Ghana Premier League. Samatex will also have the same feel. Kutuku Royals. So it looks as if all 4 teams who will be playing in the Ghana Premier League, who have come from the Division 1, will be playing in it for the very first time. So it's a bit of challenge for them. If you don't have the funds, you will struggle.
But Samatex is quite excused from this list, because Samatex is run by a company that has what it takes to run a football company.
Well,
football team.
You make a case for them, but then sometimes, the Division 1 is not as the Premier League will present.
Okay, let's see how it goes.
Finance is really necessary.
All right, thank you very much. And that's your sports. That's how we wrap up today's edition of Joy News Desk. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. My name is Samuel Kojo. Enjoy the rest of our programs. Good morning.